Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another influencer community segment, Meet the Right People. And the right person you're going to meet today is my friend, my colleague, and my social media guru, Marie Labbee. Hi, Marie.
How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you in sunflowery California.
I know, bringing a little country to you all.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the Influencer Communities Meet the Right People segment. I always feel it's so important to bring different avenues of the right people to our influencer community. And so today we want to talk about, first of all, about you a little bit and about your business, of course, and then about a conversation that you and I had a couple of 3 weeks ago about being authentic. So first things first, though. So you started your entrepreneurial journey when?
Oh, golly goodness. I would say close to 11 years ago. I think my first entrepreneurial experience was after I had my son. Um, I'm always a go getter and couldn't just stay home like a normal person. I had a newborn and decided to make baby clothes. And so I was making onesies and burp cloths and bibs for my son because there wasn't any real like cute boy clothes. And I think we were going to like a wedding or something and I wanted something cute. So I just made it. And then everybody loved it. And so I started my first business, Little Labbee, and made baby clothes and sold it in a boutique and online. And then more recently started a social media business. Well, worked for a consulting firm and then started my social media business, which is when we connected. And it's now morphed into Labbee Consulting. So I consult and help people with marketing strategies, business strategies, but specifically digital marketing.
Okay. All right. I had forgotten about the clothing business. That's right. I remember
Right?
hearing that story, but I'd forgotten about that. Yes. Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
Never
That
a dull moment in my life.
that must have been fun though, with having a newborn and kind of sewing for him, but also kind of creating for other new moms as well.
It was a lot of fun and it really helped me build a community around it. You know, being a mom can be so lonely, especially when you're a new mom, and being able to like connect with people on that fun level and taking orders and just working with other creative people was a lot of fun.
Hmm. Well, and now you've kind of in addition to your social media, Marie Labbee Consulting, but you also have something called Loveology. What's that?
Yes. Yes. So Loveology started with my daughter. A lot of what I do is inspired by my kids. I guess I'm seeing a trend. But Loveology was inspired by my daughter. She has sensory processing disorder. And so the texture of things really affects her. And she has real sensitive skin. So the soaps we were using were drying out her skin and really cracking it. And I started researching ways to make our own soap so that they'd be more gentle on her skin. And then it branched out into making our own lotions so they were better for her skin. And I started again talking to other moms who are like, I don't like the dyes and products, or my kids have like eczema or this skin condition. And, can I try it too? And so I started making it for us and then other people, and it just kind of took off. And it's all natural, affordable, handmade, small batch products that are a lot of fun to create. So I do sugar scrubs and lip balms and lotions and soaps, and sometimes it's seasonal and sometimes it's just generic, but it's a lot of fun to create, and I get a chance to create them with my daughter as well. So it's kind of a fun thing that we get to do together.
So now, if people are interested in purchasing soaps from you, do they find you on Facebook?
Yes. So I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. So I have a Facebook page, I have an Instagram page, and then I have a Facebook group. So the group is where I actually sell the products, and it's just Loveology Co. And you'll see a banner that has natural products on it that says Loveology Co. Healing from the inside out. That's my tagline. Because not only do I feel like healing your skin with natural products on the outside is important, I also lead workshops and classes to help empower women to feel beautiful from the inside out.
I love that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's so hard. I mean, we're the hardest critics on ourselves, right? And
Yeah.
so creating an community to help support other women not only helps them, but it's healing for me as well. So it's very, very cool and very rewarding.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So if people want to contact you, they would just go to your Loveology Co. on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, and they can join the group. Is that true?
Yes, it's a public group, so anybody can hop on in. The more the merrier, honestly. I do inspirational or funny quotes to encourage you. I'll tell you when new products are happening or when I'm teaching a next class or workshop. So it's not just sale, sale, sale. It's just kind of a fun community to be a part of.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, let's talk about authenticity, because you and I were having a conversation offline a couple of 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about how important it is. We believe how important it is to be authentic in your business and in your life as well. But we're talking about business today. So what is so important about being authentic to you? Why does that resonate with you?
Well, I started this like intentional journey on authenticity about a year ago, and it was instigated because I realized that I tried so hard to be and to fit into the mold I felt like was put on me, that other people expected of me and that my industry expected of me. And so I was taking so much of my time and energy trying to become or be something that I was not, instead of putting that energy into cultivating who I truly was and attracting the right audience, the right customers, and the right opportunities into my life. And so when I switched from taking all that energy to try and be something I was not, and started putting all that energy into creating who I truly was and who I felt like God created me to be, that's honestly when my business started growing tremendously, because I was exuding authenticity, and I feel like people can like feel it off of you, right? Like they can tell when you're selling them something, and they can tell when you're legitimately excited about something and passionate about something, and then they grasp onto that passion. So when I switched from selling what I thought people wanted to cultivating my own authenticity, authentic spirit, me being authentic. once, once
We
that
get you.
transition happened, words are hard. But when I switched my emphasis and my energy, everything just started falling into place. And what was meant for me came to me, and what was not left me. And just everything fell right into place. I feel like when you're in the right flow, we've talked about this, when you're in the right flow, everything just aligns, right? Like the right opportunities happen, the right people come into your path, everything just flows easily. And that's just kind of what happened the more I cultivated my own authentic spirit.
So if others that are watching this video are kind of feeling that too, like, yeah, that's kind of me. Like I try so hard to be like others, or I try to emulate or practice what others are doing, or I look at this person over here and she seems so cool and so successful, and I want to be her. What what are some words of advice about that from you?
Yeah, I first of all, the more you try and be somebody else, the more exhausted you're going to be. And I think that's a really good indicator that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. If it's exhausting you, not that being an entrepreneur is easy at all, but if you're literally feeling exhausted from the inside out, you kind of need to check yourself and be like, am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm called to be doing, what I was created to do? Or am I doing what someone else is doing because I thought that was cool, or doing what I think I'm supposed to be doing. So once you check yourself, journaling helps me out a lot. I have to get into like my quiet place. I do a lot of meditation work that helps me out a lot to
Mhm.
kind of decipher what feels good, what sits well, instead of what I'm trying to do. So when you sit quietly and you figure out truly what sits well, what brings you passion, what you're excited about, then it helps kind of direct it. And don't be scared of baby steps. You don't have to have it all figured out at once. I mean, when I started my social media company, I just realized I had a gift for telling people stories. I didn't know anything really about social media. I learned it all through YouTube. Like skills, I think you can like teach yourself or learn from somebody, but I had a passion from telling people stories. And so I used that passion and a broken smartphone and my parents' desktop computer that was old, and started a social media business. And every time I took a video, I had to delete all the apps off my phone so I would have enough space to take the video. And then I had to somehow figure out how to get it onto the computer so I could edit it to get it on it was a mess. But I feel like if you're excited about it, you figure it out. And the same with Loveology. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do after I sold my media company. And I had a real passion for healing myself and learning about natural healing and meditation and natural products. And through that passion, I started learning how to make soaps and sugar scrubs and lotions, and just naturally, like the universe lined me up with the people who were passionate about that too. And I've started a really, really cool community. And I didn't do it well at first. Like some of the soaps were just awful. Some of the products I made were just awful. And I made a lip balm with peppermint oil that literally burned people's lips. So that was not ideal. But by taking those baby steps and continuing the forward motion, I've now perfected my products. I've perfected what my brand is. I'm perfecting what that company is. But if I hadn't been brave and stepped out into what I felt good about, it wouldn't have cultivated into what it was supposed to be.
Right. So I hear a couple of very important themes there. And first of all, is that you don't need to be perfect at being authentic, that it does take time, and that baby steps are totally acceptable and
Yes.
okay. And when we fail or when we goof, we fail forward. We learn from the experience and we move into a better projection of where we need to be.
Yes, I totally agree. I think sometimes we get paralyzed. I'm a total perfectionist, by the way. So I'll speak from experience. Sometimes I get paralyzed by fear of not doing a good job or not doing something well. And I had my biggest challenge was to get over that fear and be like, it's okay if it's not perfect. But starting and putting out their B plus work is better than me being paralyzed in my fear and never starting at all.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely true. One of my favorite phrases is persistence, not perfection, because
Oh, I love.
yeah, as long as you are moving forward and as long as you are persisting in your passion, getting better and better at what you do. No one's perfect in this world. I can't think of one perfect person, right? I don't know anybody who's perfect. So
Mm-mm.
I just think if we persist, if we have that passion and we persist in that passion, that we will get to our own level of perfection, whatever that needs to be.
I 100% agree. And I think the other thing I want to add is don't compare the beginning of your journey with somebody's middle or end. That was another good piece of advice that stuck with me. It's very easy to get discouraged because you're like, mine isn't as good as, or I'm not doing it as well as. And you have to remember, you don't see what happened the 5, 10 years before what you're seeing right now. There is a lot of trial and error that happened with them. So give yourself some grace and time. I think that goes along with the persistence. Everything takes time. So you have to give yourself that. Don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Find a really cool community of people around you to encourage you to keep going when it's hard. That's one of the things I appreciate about you so much, is that those moments where I just want to give up and I've had enough, I have you as a constant cheerleader to be like, nope, today is not the day to give up. Let's just pivot. How do we pivot? And I think that's very important.
Well, I think that goes both ways. You and I've been friends and colleagues and employer employee for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. I didn't even know. I was trying to trace that back and I don't even know. I'm going to say 6 years because I saw something on Facebook the other day. 6 years ago, there was a memory that popped up and I'm like, oh, now I think that was towards the beginning of the relationship.
Yes, I think it was
so,
about
yeah,
years.
yeah. So 6, 7 years somewhere in there. And, I believe that one of the things that I like and admire most is that you are a constant in giving advice and figuring things out. I am not the best. I am not the best person to do technology. And you always, I can fret and stew about it, and you always can answer the question in one sentence. Oh, that's easy, just do this. And somehow that always just kind of works out. So, yeah.
Well, and that was kind of my niche, I felt, with social media marketing. Like, I wasn't the one who always got up in the trends. Like, I don't recommend Snapchat for everybody or get on TikTok. I think it's more important to master what you're good at. And I really enjoy teaching and empowering people. So I'd rather make technology less scary and make whoever I'm working with feel empowered to be able to do it themselves too. So that it's a team effort and you're invested in your own education, than to be like, oh, I feel like a lot of especially like tech savvy people come in with almost a belittling attitude of like, oh, you don't get that. Oh, you don't understand. Or like use techies. And I don't feel like that's helpful to anybody. I get a thrill off of being like, oh, good, I explained it in a way that you get it. Like you understand what I'm saying. Like you're not just nodding your head in agreement. So I feel better. Like we're learning something together. We're learning something new together. And I think a lot of problem solving comes from mutual effort in that conversation. People coming from two perspectives, and maybe my perspective is more unique because of the experience that I bring to the table, but so is whoever I'm working with. Their perspective is unique because of whatever they're bringing to the table. And hopefully between that collaboration, something really beautiful comes out of it.
Right. Yes, I think collaboration is a really, really important piece of a working relationship.
Yep.
Each of us brings something to the table.
Yeah.
And hopefully in that collaboration, the things that are brought to the table are different, so that one person is learning from another and the other person is learning from the first person. So, and there doesn't seem to be as much ego or besting of like, oh, well, I've known how to do that for 3 years or whatever it is. So I
Yes.
do believe that part of being authentic is being kind. You may be the smartest, person in the room, but that doesn't mean you can't be kind when you're trying to help and coach and bring along others that need your services and your advice and your wisdom too. So, I think the word authentic and the word authenticity is like a big canvas of color. It's not just one color, and it's not just, lines or rows or columns. It's like a big canvas, and we can see so many different things going on when there is authentic collaboration going on, authentic conversations going on. and that ego is just kind of brushed aside. Ego doesn't have anything to
Yes.
do with being authentic.
Yes, it's okay to not be great all the time. And it's okay to not be great at something that you want to learn. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you're going on this really truly empower authentic journey, you need to put your ego aside and be willing to learn and to be willing to be like, well, I screwed that up. That didn't work. Or also pat yourself on the back. I think sometimes, especially as female entrepreneurs, we're our worst critic. And so it's okay too to be like, nailed it. That was awesome. I did great. And to find that balance of growth, I think is important.
Absolutely. And it is a journey. It's not a sprint. It is a journey. We all have to remember that just because you cross the finish line first doesn't
Yeah.
mean that it's over. It just means that you crossed the finish line first. So,
Yes.
part of that journey is learning to pace ourselves, to accept our wins, to accept our losses with grace,
Yeah.
and keep being us, keep being real, keep being the authentic you that people want to be around. Have you ever been around somebody who you can't stand, right? And you go, oh, I just don't like being around that person, and you can't really put your finger on why, but most of the time it's because that person isn't real, that person isn't being authentic, or they're
Yeah.
projecting an image that is not where we want to be. That's not where we rest, right?
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
so important as entrepreneurs to remember to, find your lane, whatever your
Hmm.
lane is, keep to your
Hmm.
lane and keep going. The lane is not like a 50-yard dash. It's going infinity, that you don't see the end of that. But it's
Yeah.
important that you get real, you stay in your lane, and you keep moving forward with your authentic self, because people
Yes.
see that. People aren't necessarily going to call you up and go, you are so authentic, right?
Yeah.
I don't think people do that. Maybe some do, I don't know. But we know that we attract people because of our authentic behaviors. How we
Yep.
behave authentically is what attracts people to us, to our
Hmm.
businesses. And
Hmm.
people want to be around us. People want to work with us. People, instead of saying, I can't put my finger on why I don't like that person, people say, I know the reason I like that person, because she's so real, right?
Yes. And I'm a big believer in the attraction of energy. Like what you put out is what you get back.
Yes.
So when you are putting out authentic vibes and you're just trying your best, that what you're putting out is going to get attracted back, right? So you're going to find, I think, more success in that because you're in the zone, you're in the vibe. Whereas if you keep trying and you're spinning out of control, you're not focused on anything. And so you're not going anywhere. One of the things I really like doing is vision boarding. We both love to vision board. I see yours in the background. I love it. But anytime I feel like I'm spinning out of control or I don't have a clear path or direction of what my next step is, I always vision board. And a couple of different ways that I do it is I'll fold it in 4 different quadrants, and I'll create a quadrant for different areas of my life that I want to work on. So maybe family, maybe personal, work, the next steps, whatever it is that I'm wanting to cultivate. Those are the 4 quadrants. And then I'll take catalogs or magazines and rip out the words that just speak to me, like not thinking where they're going to go. I just go through them. And if that word speaks to me, or that phrase or that picture speaks to me, then I cut it out and then I kind of figure out where they go, and it kind of develops itself. So I really like doing it that way. And then another way is just starting with the magazines or artwork and just seeing where it goes, just leaving it totally open ended, no direction, just seeing where the words in my spirit take me that day. But that's a really cool tool I found when I'm feeling all over the place, to kind of refocus myself too.
Mhm. Yes. I try to do those like 4 times a year. So this is my
Uh,
fall one in back of me. So I'll be switching off, in December. I'll put up a new blank piece of paper and just see where it leads. And I
yeah,
like them, obviously this is the main part of my house. I like them so I can see them and anybody who walks in my house can see them
I love that.
too. Sometimes people will comment on them, sometimes they won't. But I think that it is a great visualization to have it where you can see it,
Yes,
so that it doesn't go to back of mind. And also,
yes,
if other people see it, they know where you're coming from. They know who more, again, being authentic, right? They know
mhm,
more of what your feelings and thoughts are, as
mhm.
opposed to trying to guess, because sometimes when you first meet people, some people are very, very quiet, and it
Yep,
takes some time to kind of ferret out, like, what is this person thinking, what is their mood, and so
yep,
to me this is kind of like a great non-verbal, and
yes,
sometimes a conversation starter too, because they'll say, oh wow, so you like the mountains or you like the ocean, or and so it kind of gets the
yes,
vibe out there, about who you are, and
I love.
that helps other people feel a little more comfortable about you, I think.
Oh, I agree. And I like that it kind of directs your yeses and your nos, right?
Mhm.
Like when you know what your vision is, when you know where your focus is, then it makes it a lot easier when somebody asks you to do something or you're wanting to take on a new project or client, to be like, does this align with where I want to go? And if it does, then that's a yes. And if it doesn't, it's okay to be like, nope, that right now, that's not a good fit for where I'm wanting to go. Because we only have so much energy, right? Like we only have a little bucket of energy. And if we're not utilizing it effectively, not only are we not being authentic, our business is not going to grow either. So it doesn't help anybody. And let's be honest, you're probably going to be mad at whatever you said yes to that you didn't really want to say yes to, and you're going to do it with a
Yeah.
bad attitude anyway.
Yes. I heard somebody say I think last summer or last spring, that they had finally reached a place in their business that they were comfortable enough with themselves to say to a potential client that they felt was never going to be a good fit for them, that it would be
Yeah,
an uphill battle to work with them, whatever, that they were
yeah,
finally comfortable and true enough to yourself to say,
yeah,
I appreciate you very much. And I think that I have a better fit for you. I can refer you to, a person more suited to your needs. And I thought,
hmm,
wow, that's huge, because
right.
that truly being authentic to yourself, being real within yourself.
Yeah, and let's be honest, you're gonna probably get a better referral and review from the people that are legit good fits with you and what you're trying to cultivate when you do it from an authentic spirit. Because when you just take on anybody and you're like, I'll just make it work, it probably won't. And it's not going to be a good experience for anybody. And it's definitely not going to turn into a good review and a reference. So it's kind of a waste of time for everybody. And you don't want to waste your potential client's time, and you don't want to waste your time.
Right. And the money that you've earned from that is probably so hard fought that it's
Yeah.
almost like pennies on the dollar. You may
Yes.
charge a certain amount of money, but the angst or the uncertainty or the arguments or whatever, are so fraught in the working relationship that, yes, you may wind up with some money, but it may leave such a taint in your mouth because it was so hard to even please or get to that level where the person said, okay, here's your money. I'm not thrilled with what you did, but here's your money anyway. So yeah, it never pays off. But I think when we reach that level in our business where we can say, I know who I need to work with, I know who my ideal client is, that's who I want. And if I'm being truthful and real and authentic, you are not that person. You
Yeah.
know, let me get you to somebody who's better suited in personality or whatever. So I
Yeah,
think that's huge. But that is true authenticity at its finest.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that's really well put.
Yeah. Well, so, okay, so if people want to, we know how to get hold of you for Loveology, but if
Mhm,
people want to talk to you more about your social media services, how should they
mhm.
reach you?
My email is the best way to reach me, which is Marie, Marie, Ann, Libby, L-A-B as in boy, B as in boy, E as in Edward, E as in Edward at gmail.com. So Marie Ann Libby at gmail.com is the best way to reach me. And just in the title of the email, put social media questions, social media need help, 911, whatever it is, like social media something. And then I'll know that that is for a social media consulting gig.
That's awesome. And what we'll do when we publish this video for our influencer community members, we will actually put your Gmail address in the comment section so people can actually see it as well as hear you say it. So, well, Marie, thank
Fantastic.
you so much for this interview. I think it's been a long time coming. And I was so pleased to know that you were going to be willing to be a meet the right people person on the influencer community website and Facebook page as well.
Well, I love always chatting with you. I'm super jealous that you're not still in Visalia, but I'm glad for technology and us being able to chat. And thank you so much for asking me on. I really enjoy working with you. And, right now, authenticity is kind of my passion. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to share.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
No problem. Hopefully, we'll chat soon.